Have you ever had one of those days where everything feels urgent? The email, the dishes, the appointment you need to make, even the smallest task feels like it has to be done right now. You try to figure out where to start, but instead of getting more done, you end up feeling overwhelmed and frozen. If that sounds familiar, your brain isn't telling you that everything is an emergency. It's telling you that it's overloaded. Today, I'll explain why this happens and share a simple way to slow everything down again. Hello and welcome back to the universe, friends. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll understand why everything suddenly feels equally important when you're overwhelmed. And I'll give you one simple way to start separating what's truly urgent from what can wait. So let's talk about why everything suddenly feels urgent. Have you ever noticed that when you're overwhelmed, even the smallest task can start to feel like emergencies? It's not just the big responsibilities, it's the laundry sitting in the basket, the phone call you've been putting off, the messy closet. On their own, none of these things are a crisis, but somehow they all start demanding your attention at the same time. So instead of seeing a list of separate tasks, it can feel like all your responsibilities are crashing down on you all at once. When that happens, it's easy to believe that the answer is to move faster. So you jump from one task to another. You answer part of an email, then remember you need to make a phone call. While you're reaching for your phone, you notice the laundry. Then a notification pops up. Then you remember something else you forgot to do. By the end of the day, you've been so busy that instead of feeling like you've accomplished something, you still feel behind. Not because you didn't do enough, but because your attention has been pulled in so many different directions that nothing feels completely finished. That's one of the most frustrating parts of feeling overwhelmed. It's not always about having too much to do. It's about feeling like everything needs your attention right now. And when everything feels urgent, it's almost impossible to know where to begin. Remember, feeling overwhelmed doesn't just affect how much you have to do. It changes the way you experience everything that's asking for your attention. Now that we talked about what this feels like, let's talk about why your brain treats everything like an emergency. When you're overwhelmed for days or even weeks, your brain begins paying closer attention to anything that might need your response. It's trying to help. Its job is to notice problems before they become bigger problems. The trouble is, when you're carrying a lot of stress, your brain starts looking for the next thing that needs your attention. Over time, it can become harder to tell the difference between what's truly urgent and what's simply asking for your attention. Instead of seeing priorities, it starts seeing pressure. Creating a grocery list feels urgent. Planning dinner feels urgent. The dishes feel urgent. Replying to the text message feels urgent. Even though none of those things are emergencies, your brain is reacting as if they all deserve immediate attention. That's because when we're under prolonged stress, our brains naturally become more alert. It's a protective response. The mind starts scanning for unfinished tasks, possible problems, and anything that might require action. That can make ordinary responsibilities feel much bigger than they really are. It's almost like the volume knob has been turned up. Instead of hearing one task at a comfortable volume, everything is suddenly loud. And when everything feels loud, everything feels urgent. That's why something as simple as answering one email can create the same sense of pressure as preparing for an important meeting. Not because the email is actually an emergency, but because your brain is treating every unfinished task as something that needs your attention right now. The important thing to remember is this: your brain isn't trying to make life harder, it's trying to protect you. The problem is that when you've been overwhelmed for a while, its protective system can become a little too sensitive. So instead of helping you focus on what matters most, it starts treating almost everything like it matters equally. Now, let's talk about how constant urgency affects your day. When everything feels urgent, your day can start to feel like one long race that you're never quite winning. You rush from one task to the next, hoping that if you can just finish one more thing, you'll finally feel caught up. But that feeling rarely comes. Instead, every time you cross something off your list, your attention immediately jumps to the next unfinished task. So instead of feeling relieved, you feel behind. That's one of the hardest parts of living in constant urgency. You don't get to enjoy what you've accomplished because your mind is already focused on what hasn't been done yet. It can even make it difficult to rest. You sit down and relax. Your brain reminds you about the laundry, the email, the phone call, the errand, the appointment. Even while your body is sitting still, your mind keeps moving. Over time, this constant pressure can leave you feeling mentally exhausted. Not because you've been doing everything wrong, but because your brain has been treating ordinary responsibilities like they're all competing for first place. And when everything feels equally important, it's incredibly hard to feel at peace. Remember, living in constant urgency doesn't just drain your energy, it steals your ability to feel finished. Now, remember when I asked you to stick around? This is the tool I promised I'd share with you. So, one question that can calm the urgency. The next time everything feels urgent, I don't want you to immediately start working harder. Instead, I want you to pause for just a moment and ask yourself one simple question: is this truly urgent? Or does it just feel urgent? That one question creates something we've been missing throughout the entire video: space. When everything feels urgent, we usually react automatically. We rush, we multitask, we try to do everything at once. But when you pause and ask yourself that question, you're giving your brain a chance to slow down before it reacts. Then ask yourself one more question: what actually needs my attention first? Not everything, just one thing. Because when your brain is overwhelmed, trying to solve 10 problems at once usually creates even more stress. Sometimes the most helpful thing you can do is give yourself permission to finish one thing before worrying about the next. Remember, when everything feels urgent, don't ask, how do I get everything done? Ask, what's the one thing that needs my attention right now? Now, you don't have to treat everything like an emergency. The truth is, life will probably always ask something of you. There will always be another responsibility, another decision, another problem to solve, another item on your to do list. The goal isn't to reach a point where there's nothing left to do. The goal is to stop treating everything like it deserves the same level of urgency. Some things need your attention today. Some things can wait until tomorrow. And some things only feel urgent because your mind has been carrying too much for too long. The next time you notice that familiar feeling, take one slow breath. Ask yourself, is this truly urgent, or does it just feel urgent? Then choose one next step. Over time, those small pauses begin to change something important. Instead of reacting to every demand on your attention, you begin choosing where your attention goes. And that's where the feeling of urgency starts to lose its grip. Because peace doesn't come from getting everything done. It comes from knowing that not everything has to be done right now. If everything feels urgent because your mind is carrying too much, I think you'll really benefit from my video, How to Stop Feeling Overwhelmed by Your To-Do List. It builds on what we've talked about today and gives you another practical tool for when life feels like too much. For your reflection, ask yourself this question: what feels urgent to me today? And does it really need my attention right now? If there's one thing I hope you remember from today's video, it's this: just because something feels urgent doesn't mean it is. The next time everything starts demanding your attention, take one slow breath and ask yourself, is this truly urgent, or does it just feel urgent? And if this space helps you feel understood, I'd love to have you stay. Until next time, keep growing gently. Take care, friends. You've got this, and I'll see you back in the universe soon.